Hi there, and thank you for showing an interest in how to relieve stress and trauma related to wildfires using logosynthesis. We know that many people will experience the impacts of the Nova Scotia wildfires long after the fires are extinguished. Stress, emotional turmoil, PTSD, anxiety, grief, panic attacks, financial stress, sleep disruption. These are just a few of common issues that bother people. Even when we're strong and carrying on, we don't really have a lot of control about when and where these symptoms show up. And while there are various approaches to address the symptoms, one model that is gaining recognition is logosynthesis. Developed by Dr. Willem Lammers, logosynthesis offers a precise, structured technique to shift the sensory perception, that mental imagery that can be frozen as memories. And when these perceptions shift or dissolve, the distressing thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations also fall away. So Willem talks about the mental imagery and the related symptoms, or the sensory perceptions and the related symptoms, as cufflinks. So they act together as one frozen piece. And so sometimes just the smell of smoke afterwards can bring someone right back to their unique experience during the wildfires. And the other thing that's important to note here is, when fires broke out and we heard news, I was sitting outside down by the dock enjoying a beautiful day, and I saw the smoke in the sky, and I knew how dangerous that was. But yet I did not have that same experiences, the same intensity and vividness of experience that many a mere 20 kilometers away experienced. So it's important to recognize that while I may not experience those symptoms, many people do. So in this video, I will guide you through a cycle of logosynthesis so that you can experience how this model, how the technique works for yourself. So whether you have a unique experience, a troublesome experience from the wildfires, and that's what I'll kind of guide you through today, but it can be used for any distressing mental imagery. And logosynthesis uses the power of words, so it's not like we're using anything foreign to us. And it uses the power of intention, working one layer at a time. So it's not like we're saying, I'm going to resolve my whole experience about the wildfires. You may have 5 or 6, you may have dozens of memories that are frozen into your personal space. So we're going to work one layer at a time. And when we shift them, we're looking for immediate and lasting relief. And I will note here that if you do experience intense symptoms, it is recommended to be guided by a trained practitioner in logosynthesis to hold that space for you so that you're comfortable, because a lot of times our automatic response is, get me out of this. I can't let myself go there. And so that's why we go for coping techniques. That's why we might want other forms of stress relievers. But what we do when we hold that space is allow you to go there and offer the sentences, allow you to let that shift. And sometimes it can be intense, right? But when it's shifted, there's relief. So to start, you can pause this video to get a glass of water, because after the sentences process, it is good to have a drink of water. I'll also ask you to make sure that you're in a quiet spot, that you won't be interrupted. And I would say I'd allow 30 minutes for this work. You can pause the video at any time, but it's good to allow enough time that you can go through the 3 sentences that are going to be offered and let the energy shift. So once you're ready with your glass of water, you can press start again. So you may want to know what we're going to work with. Logosynthesis identifies and neutralizes the sensory perception. So think of images, sounds, smells. It might be the feeling of intense heat. And we know this as mental imagery. And that this mental imagery, it could be, you could have mental imagery that triggers very pleasant thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. But for the purpose of this video, we're looking to relieve distress. So we're looking for the distressing ones. And so in the case of a wildfire, I'll just ask yourself to allow yourself to notice what is currently bothering you about the wildfires. Just allow yourself the space to notice what is bothering you about the wildfires. Is it something when you get in the car to drive? Is there a certain time where a smell brings you back? Maybe you have difficulty sleeping and that there's a recurrent intrusive image that is in your mind. So just allow yourself to be there. I know someone mentioned to me about during the wildfires and we got all the alarms on our phone, the emergency alerts, and that took them back to the mass shootings here in Nova Scotia. So perhaps it's the sound of that emergency alert that you might want to work with. So pick one sensory perception, one mental image, and then I'll ask you to follow my lead. If you want a little bit of time to think about what you want to work on, then just press pause. And when you're ready, come back. So with this image in mind or sound in mind, I'll ask you to get in touch with the thoughts. What are the thoughts that you experience when this image comes to mind? What are the emotions? Is it fear? Is it grief? Is it anger? Just allow yourself to notice the emotions. When you're in touch with the thoughts and emotions, where do you feel this in your body? Right? What is the physical sensation that you experience? Is there something in your core? Do you get a pounding headache? Do you feel your energy is just drained out of you? And now when you're in touch with these thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, just allow yourself to take note of where this image is in your personal space. Is it in front of you or behind you or around you? Is it near to you? Is it far away? Just allow yourself the time to get in touch with it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, rate the level of distress you're experiencing right now. So 0 is no distress and 10 is a maximum distress. And you can write the number down or just make a mental note. Okay. And so holding this sensory perception, this mental image in mind, I'm going to ask you to repeat 3 sentences after me, and I'm going to allow a pause in between each, and I'm going to break up the sentences to allow you to repeat it without having to remember it all. Okay, so hold that sensory perception there, that mental image, and repeat after me. I retrieve all of my energy bound up in this perception and everything it represents, and I take it to the right place in myself. Just let the words work. Don't think about what's happening. It's all energy. Just let the energy shift, even if it feels intense. Let the energy shift. Just let the words work. And some people, when they're doing this, might notice some yawning or some eyes flickering. Other people might feel a fairly intense shift in their body. It may not be that comfortable, but just let the energy shift. If the energy is still shifting, just press pause until things calm a bit, and then I'll offer the second sentence. So you can press pause here if you wish. And now for the second sentence. I remove all non-me energy bound up in this perception and everything it represents from all of my cells, all of my body, and my personal space, and I send it to where it truly belongs. And again, you don't have to think about where that energy is going or what non-me means. Just allow it to shift its energetic work. Let your thinking brain rest. And let the words work. And just let the energy shift. For some people, the energy may calm down after a minute or two, and you can move on to the next sentence with me. For others, it may take several minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes to let it settle. So just press pause. And when you're ready, we'll go with the third sentence. I retrieve all of my energy bound up in all of my reactions to this perception and everything it represents, and I take it to the right place in myself. And just let the words work. Let the energy shift. The energy shift. It may feel calm, it may feel intense. Just allow it to work. And if things have settled, you can continue on with me. And if it's still processing, just press pause until it calms. And then continue on with me. So now I'm going to ask you to notice what happens. What happens to the thoughts and emotions? What's happening in your body? What happens to the mental image? Just observe. And I'm going to ask you to rate the level of the distress that you're now experiencing on a scale of 0 to 10. How distressing is this mental image? And make note of this number. So 0 is no distress, 10 maximum. What is the number now? And can compare the two numbers to notice what shifts. So if it feels calm and there's no distress, then that's great. You can end it here. If there still is distress with this image, then you can do another cycle and go through this video again. And what I will note, a lot of times when we do it, if it's something that's really intense, maybe the first image when you processed, it was just a cloud of smoke. And then in the second image, maybe that smoke might have cleared away, and you see something else, and that could be very distressing. Or if you were in the environment for a long time and there was a lot happening, there could be multiple images. So I would say if you're doing a couple of cycles of this video, then don't go any longer than an hour. Just bring some calmness to it at the end. To have a good drink of water, just to kind of tune in your energy again. And then either go and ask for some help, or also you can, kind of do this on a regular basis, on a routine basis, to work away the various perceptions. So the stress and trauma of the wildfires can affect you long after the fire subsides. And this work highlights that the sensory perceptions is energetic in nature, right? So by saying the words, something shifted. And that means it's not cognitive. It wasn't our thinking brain that says, okay, I'm going to get you to change this image for me. We kind of went into a zone where we got in touch with our body, noticed the energy, allowed the image to arise, and dissolved it. So it's emotional or irrational. It's not rational. And, when I first came to this work, I came with a very rational brain. And personally, I don't experience vivid mental images. I still experience the reactions, but I don't experience that vividness of imagery. And so sometimes my reactions are not near as intense as what some other people can experience. But doing this work, I've come to appreciate how intense those reactions can be. So by integrating logosynthesis into your recovery journey, you can really access a powerful technique for stress relief and for healing. So instead of having to always put things aside and, maybe you need, there still could be a need for medication, and there's still a need for all the healthy lifestyle practices and the healing techniques. But when we start to peel away the layers, we can be present in our own self without needing that, right? So logosynthesis works one layer at a time. Allow yourself time to explore its benefits fully. If you find it challenging to navigate this technique independently, then feel free to reach out for additional support. And also the Logosynthesis International Association, their website offers a list of professionals who are certified as practitioners in logosynthesis. So these are therapists, they're counselors, coaches, pastors, and they can guide you in this process or reach out to me personally. And also on the website, there's information for professionals that are interested in training. So there are resources. I hope this information helps, and take care of yourself.